Hello and welcome to Studio One, the virtual film company studio on VRChat. Today it's St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day, and we have a real live leprechaun from Ireland with us. I'm going to hand it over to Mystery for the introductions.
Yes, you've been introduced as a leprechaun from Ireland, so cue it up to you, sir.
You want me to respond to that?
Yeah.
I mean, I ordinarily wouldn't respond to such a blatant stereotype of my nation on my nation's day, but nevertheless, we are here in the spirit of the interview. So, yes, it's March 17th. It is the St. Patrick's Day here in Ireland and across the world. And yeah, thanks for having me here for this impromptu chat about all things Ireland on this great day. So, here in Ireland, we're all celebrating. It's like, what time is it with me now? It's like 5:20. So a lot of the parades would have finished up maybe an hour ago. They started like 12 to 2. Dublin is the biggest one, obviously, but we have lots of local parades here as well. And even logging in to try to come into VRChat today, I saw that Google's logo has got shamrocks adorned. So it's nice to see the world taking a little bit of attention and commemorating this day for this little island of 5 million people.
Beautiful. How do you feel about this is the one day of the year that your island gets to be celebrated?
I think it's, I think a lot of other countries would be jealous of a day where, they're going to be celebrated on an international level. We saw our Taoiseach, our Prime Minister, Micheál Martin, meeting Donald Trump in the White House a couple of days ago, doing the traditional annual gifting of the shamrock, which has become a kind of a symbol for, I suppose the work and the business and the economy between the two countries of Ireland and the USA. But it's, it's a fairly coveted thing, I think, and something I'm proud of, that, on this day we celebrate all things Ireland. We have a huge diaspora that is living all over the world. For such a small country, because of many things, we had to emigrate to any country that would have us over the last couple of hundred years. And, we contributed, whether it was through construction or through business, to those countries' health and economy. And that's something that we're proud of as well. In fact, even just yesterday, I looked at the amount of Americans that claim Irish ancestry. And it's something like 11.5% of people living in the US claim to be of Irish descent, which is roughly 35 million people of the population in the US. The only two countries that claim more ancestry is England, which is slightly above it, about 39 million, and Germany, which is at the top at about 45 million people in the US claim German descent. So, we're in the top three, and for such a small country, I think we're batting well above our average,
Well, I remember when I went there to visit and whatnot, and even reflecting with you of when we were, by the coast, and you could tell ships had arrived on that coast, and you could, with the famine and everything like that, you could feel. I mean, so if you think about it, to me, the emotional tapping into what it was like for these families, there's tough goodbyes, but the goodbye that you will probably never see your child, or your parent again. And I know it's heavy to bring up or talk about, but, you look at how many people did that and then have come here to this other land, and now this is their home, and it's the big mixing pot. So
yeah,
planted your seed in another land. So I feel like, but there's a connection there, right? There is, and it's powerful.
No, it is, and it's something that's been in place for many hundreds of years. And yeah, we had to get on boats. The famine was something where we weren't able to even feed our children, so we had to get on boats and go to, not just the US, but we went to a lot of people would have, emigrated to the UK, to France, to Germany. But there, America, the land of opportunity, was a big one for boats, particularly leaving the likes of Cork and Galway. And yeah, people stepped on those boats and, never to return to these shores, and made lives for themselves in the US, whether they came in at New York or they came in at Boston, because those were obviously the two closest ports. Yeah, it's still happening to this day. We get a lot of young people that don't see a future for themselves here, and they head off to greener climes. And whether that's Australia is a big one for us now. A lot of Irish young people go to Australia. I think the weather is a big help there for. They're going to.
They like going there because of the accent, because they actually want to lose their Irish accent and gain an Australian accent. Do you think that's part?
I very much doubt that, man. I very much doubt that. Have you heard the Australian accent? No, I doubt that that's in the top 10 reasons why people leave for Australia.
Let's get this back on St. Patrick's Day.
In fact, the Irish accent, I think, has been, systematically one of the top accents in the world that people, when they're asked what's their favorite accent, Ireland comes up trumps a lot of times in those quizzes. What? And then Donegal, the particular part I'm from, comes top in Ireland. So, arguably I've got the best accent in the world. So, that's not something to be sniffled at.
So we really need to get to the.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. I mean, I saw a piece that Kurt Cobain from Nirvana had recorded before he died about, looking into his ancestry. And it turns out that his people were from Cork. And he said he visited Cork, and he didn't know this until after he had visited, and they toured Ireland back in probably 1996. It was definitely he died in 94, sorry. So it would have been 92, I think. And he found this great sense of spirituality. And he said he was almost in tears when he was going around Cork. And then later he learned that that's where his people had emigrated from. So he was it all kind of made sense then in the end,
So John, you can hear Michael now.
Oh, I've been able to hear Michael the whole time. He can't hear me.
Okay.
I'm curious.
I cannot hear John. Can you hear me, John?
Okay. What do you want us to get back on track? Because I feel like I'm the meeting.
What happened?
Okay, John wants to talk about the origins of St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
St. Patrick with the.
And we expect our guests to sit up and pay attention.
Has he got a question, or should I?
Back.
He wants you to sit up and pay attention. I feel like I'm a ghost right now. Why don't you give me a little?
Are you celebrating the lack of snakes? Are you celebrating
the lack of snakes? Becoming Christian.
What?
So both of those things, I guess. Although over the last number of years, some snakes have been reintroduced to Ireland, both figuratively and, actually there are small snakes living in the south coast of Ireland now. That with climate change, the weather has become a lot more temperate. What's that word? Obviously, it's just become a lot warmer and wetter. So we actually have some snakes back. So perhaps we need a revisit of St. Patrick to wipe those guys out again. But yeah, he brought Christianity here. He, I think it's more of an anecdote that he managed to drive the snakes out of Ireland. And I think if he was talking to some of our politicians, he might find he's left a few snakes still remain. But yeah, he brought Christianity here. I mean, the big misconception is that St. Patrick is Irish. He actually was born more than likely in Wales, which is a small boat journey from here, but would have came to Ireland and brought Christianity here, and arguably, changed the whole scope of religion.
So do you feel the Irish don't want to claim him as their own, basically, or is he adopted?
No, the opposite of that. The Irish do claim them as their own, and they want to claim them as him as their own, but because he spent more of his life here in Ireland than he did where he was born. So no, we take absolute ownership of, but the facts of the matter are he was more than likely born in Wales. I mean, some of this is so far, some scholars say he was born in England, some say he was born in Europe, but I think it's without doubt, there's no question that he wasn't actually born here in the country itself.
Great. So
ask him.
Yep. Ask him why.
If he thinks that the Irish are better off with Christianity.
Do you think the Irish are better off with Christianity? Let's make this religious.
Well, speaking as as a Buddhist myself, I think sometimes you've got to see what doesn't work, in order to decide on what does. And we had a history with obviously from Christianity into Catholicism, where this country was ruled by church and state, and thankfully we don't live under those kind of auspices anymore. So to answer your question, do I think we're better because Christianity came here? I don't know. I think there's been a development, from the country when it was formed to where we are now, where we've got every religion and every denomination, and we're very multicultural. So I think that's better. I think that kind of diversity is always better than if we were just a 98% Catholic country, which we were not that long ago.
From spending my time over there, it seems like the actually from where you're at, the Protestants are some of the people who they're most fans of over there. They have this huge fan club.
The Protestants?
Yes.
Is your tongue firmly in your cheek? I hope so. Because, I think that is where, every single war and fight that we had was sectarian in the sense it was Catholics against Protestants, but actually it wasn't a sectarian war. It was very much more the British against the Irish.
Yeah.
It was the fact that like most of the British were Protestants and most of the Irish were Catholics was kind of an aside, but people made it out to be a sectarian war, where actually it was really more about nations fighting one another, and of course Britain fighting everyone because they want to occupy everyone at one point.
So when I went over there, I was actually like, as somebody who, I think tourists come over there and they're like, great, I get to actually visit Ireland, and some of the things that they don't expect is they're actually going to visit part of England as well while they're visiting Ireland.
Okay, I'm going to have to reach for you if I can literally lift this other hand with my sleeping controller. I would have throttled you with midway through this interview. And I understand you're taking the piss here, but like I think you're also confusing England with the UK. So like England is just one little section within the UK, but the UK is Great Britain is where the trouble between Ireland and the UK. It wasn't just Ireland and England, but Scotland and Wales were kind of on our side. So I suppose England got the brunt of it as well. Yeah. That's what it all boils down to, is English, or what's called Anglo-Irish relations.
Yes.
It's like, England is like Washington, DC, I suppose. It's where all the heads of, the heads of government are located. And therefore, that was where, a lot of the anger was directed.
I feel like we're just not properly in the United States. I mean, not everybody, I would say. There's a percentage of the United States that's properly educated on the complexities going on over there. Like I would say John probably would known more than some people would have known. But I think the common people, they don't realize the magnitude of it. I knew that there was some differences. Looking at the map, you can obviously see that there is some differences. But when I went over there, you really and then as well, being with people from the country, you get the deeper you go in to root yourself with the people there, you get this different perspective. So
I guess you're seeing it firsthand there. I mean, we're such a small set of islands on the outline edge of Europe that many of our islands would fit within the United States. I mean, I think we'd probably fit into one of the United States, and there's probably some states that are bigger. Texas might be bigger than Ireland in terms of land mass, but I guess there's definitely a history there between England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales that thankfully isn't resulting in, the sort of death and the war and the destruction that we've seen over the last 50 years, particularly. And now we've learned to get on with one another a lot more. We work together. We have a lot of employment. A lot of, English people are employed in Ireland, and likewise the other way around. A lot of our expats, are living in the UK and being well looked after. And so there are friends and neighbors now,
Awesome. It's been great celebrating this holiday with, our friend from Ireland.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Pleasure being here. And, you know, the next time there's a hatchet job being done with the questions from Eric, let me know and sign me up. But no, I'm thankful for being here, and I understand it's mostly in jest, but no, it's great to be here on St. Patrick's Day. And, you know, I'm gonna log out shortly. I'm gonna have a log off and have a can of cold Guinness to commemorate.
That definitely sounds good.
John says that sounds good. So for me, part of unfortunately, the tough questions, I was, from people who don't really know what's going. That was, to me, I was channeling, for people that don't know about Ireland. So I'm glad that you were able to bring clarification to some people, and some people probably were slightly entertained with the commentary. So thank you.
Pleasure,
so just to
pleasure.
muddy
Thanks
the
for
waters,
having me, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
I'm as a medium here giving. I gotta give. What is it? What does he need to hear?
I'm gonna go off and have a black and tan instead of a
He's
gas.
gonna have a black and tan as well. So yes,
Nice.
we will cheers to.
Well,
Yes, cheers.
Appreciate
my
that.
brother. Yes.
Okay, guys. Peace out.
All right, you guys.
Cheers. Have a good one, everyone.
Sláinte, as we say in Ireland.
Sláinte.
Yes. Good. Well, thank you for watching the Virtual Film Company. This is the Virtual Film Company Studio One on VRChat. Check us out on YouTube at the Virtual Film Company.